Logical fallacies are misleading forms of reasoning, often used to manipulate opinions or make weak arguments appear stronger. These errors in logic can stem from poor reasoning, lack of evidence, or intentional deception. People in various fields such as politics, advertising, and media often rely on these tactics to sway audiences without properly supporting their arguments. One commonly used fallacy is the argument to the people, also known as appeal to stirring symbols. This occurs when someone uses a popular symbol, like the American flag, or a support the troops bumper sticker, to evoke emotional responses. While these symbols hold meaning for many, they are irrelevant to the actual argument being made. Politicians frequently employ this strategy by surrounding themselves with patriotic imagery to associate their message with national pride, even if it has no real connection to their policies. Similarly, the appeal to pity seeks to gain sympathy by highlighting irrelevant personal hardships. For example, a candidate might tell heart-wrenching personal stories during a campaign, even though those stories have no bearing on their ability to govern. However, in situations like charity campaigns, where pity is directly related to the cause, this fallacy may not apply. Another fallacy often seen in debates is ad hominem, where the focus shifts from the argument to attacking the person making it. For instance, someone might criticize a chef's appearance rather than the quality of the food, which has no relevance to the argument. In some cases, personal critiques are relevant, such as if a candidate has a health condition that impacts their ability to fulfill the role. But otherwise, this tactic distracts from legitimate discussion. Likewise, the red herring fallacy diverts attention from the actual issue at hand. When a politician deflects a question about their past actions by criticizing their opponent's unrelated behavior, they're shifting the issue to avoid accountability. A hasty generalization occurs when an argument assumes that a whole group shares the same traits based on limited examples. For instance, claiming that women should not hold political office because one or two may be overly emotional is a broad generalization that lacks sufficient evidence. The bandwagon fallacy, or appeal to popularity, argues that something is valid simply because it is widely accepted or trending. For example, telling someone to buy a product just because everyone else is using it is not a valid reason to believe in its quality. Begging the question happens when an argument's conclusion is simply restated in different words, offering no real support. Saying we must bomb evildoers because they commit evil acts doesn't provide a reason for the bombing, it just restates the premise. Similarly, post hoc, ergo propter hoc fallacies incorrectly assume that because one event follows another, the first event caused the second. For example, concluding that students' test scores improved because they cut their hair over the weekend is faulty reasoning. The false dilemma, or either-or fallacy, presents only two extreme options, suggesting there is no middle ground. Statements like, we must fight the enemy on their soil or they will invade ours, falsely imply that there are no other strategies available. Finally, the slippery slope fallacy suggests that a relatively small action will lead to an extreme, often ridiculous outcome. For instance, claiming that legalizing same-sex marriage could eventually result in allowing marriage between humans and animals is an illogical leap with no real evidence. Understanding these fallacies allows us to see through weak arguments and manipulative tactics. By recognizing when flawed reasoning is at play, we can better engage with discussions and make informed decisions based on logic rather than deception.